I'll start us off. Joe, let's talk about preparation over the last couple of days. How's the squad feeling going into this weekend?
Yeah, I'd like to think they're feeling a little bit nervous because that edge is something we're going to need. Again, the very fine margins that fell our way, and we pushed them our way with some good stuff in that last quarter. We're going to have to try to make sure that's delivered from start to finish, and that's always a challenge for any team because inevitably there's momentum shifts in Test matches, and I think we've really pushed discipline this week. That first half, I think there were too many access points, and that just allowed them to put scoreboard pressure on us. Obviously, making sure we've got a couple of solutions from those midfield scrums, and there's plenty of other things that I think the Argentinians have the potential to throw at us. So we've tried to cover some bases, and we've also tried to build on our ability to score, and on the back of those 4 tries last week, we've got to try to make sure that we galvanise any of those opportunities to exert that pressure and then to finish it off.
Talk to us a little bit about the selection of Tane coming into 10. Obviously, he's played a couple of different roles across the team over the last couple of months. What did now feel like the right time to bring him in?
Yeah, he's in behind the scenes. He's been very versatile for us. I don't know if you saw, but in the 17th minute in Cape Town, Tate McDermott hurt his ankle. Mike Cron was teaching him how to feed the scrum at half time in Cape Town, and Joe Sue was ruled out, and I said, hang on, Chrono, no, I need him. He's going to have to play in the midfield. And so at that stage, Tane, he was super in that game. For a bit of a patch together back line, I thought he filled in really well, and I think that would have contributed a little bit to his confidence, and we wanted to give him more confidence and more time to, I guess, familiarise himself with running the team in a pivotal position like number 10, and it's nice to have the security of James O'Connor available to come off the bench as he did last week, and not only did he settle things down, but he also ramped them up when it needed to be ramped up.
Is he becoming your, well, you mentioned the word versatile, but is Tane becoming your Mr. Fix-It?
Well, he had to be so far. He is a bit versatile. He's brave. Again, in that Cape Town test, he took a superb high ball, made some really good tackles. He's got some good width in his passing game and a good feel in his passing game. So being able to slot in and move around is an advantage. But we'd love to give him the best chance in a specialist position this weekend, and the best opportunity to do that was to put him in from the start. He obviously got reps on Tuesday at training, the majority of the reps today, and as I said, James has got a lot more of them over the last 4 or 5 weeks and beyond, so it's been good that he gets to build a bit of confidence, and James and Tom have been really good sitting in behind that and chatting to him about how, what and when he might choose to do things.
Joe, there's been really heavy rainfall here in Sydney. Hopefully we get some dry weather until Saturday.
Yeah.
You showed your skills as a talented meteorologist in the final test in Sydney. Have you made any allowances for the rain and the issues with drainage at Allianz? Has that affected the selection at all, and do you have any concerns with how wet it could be underfoot?
The forecast is for it to clear up this afternoon and then to be fine tomorrow and fine the following day. So not too much breeze around, that would help, but probably just enough to shift the air and dry things out a little bit, and that's what we're hoping for. I think what is in doubt is maybe the captain's run being held in the stadium, which is the same thing that happened to us in Cape Town after they got heavy rain as well, just to make sure that the field can be in as good a condition as it can be, and both teams, have to have to roll with the punches there and just do something a little bit more away from the field to get themselves ready.
Joe, as well, you have a wonderful relationship obviously with your former coach Jeff Parting. I was just wondering, is there any update? You know, James is keen to stay, you're obviously keen to have him, goes into Reg 9. Is there any update on those discussions with Jeff?
Yeah, I spoke to Jeff yesterday morning on a totally different issue, just in terms of coaching. He's a first-time head coach, and that brings with it plenty of challenges as he's finding out. But he's a mature coach, and I'd be really confident he's going to do a good job. And we talked briefly about James, and I think for us it's just about getting to the end of Saturday and then having another discussion just around who we have in terms of our 10s. We've got a very short-term focus but a long-term vision, and part of that long-term vision is by the time we get to 2027 World Cup, we need some players who've got experience at 10, and I'm not saying that James can't play all the way through there, but we've got some young 10s who we know would benefit from the experiences of pressure cooker test matches, and the more confidence they build, I think the better they will be in staying calm in those heated moments where it's hard to see the wood for the trees.
Just the final one from me. Another coach you've got a great relationship with, Ronan O'Gara. Has there been any discussions there? I know it's unlikely for Auckland, but potentially maybe getting Will back for Perth, given there's a direct flight there, or is that something again that might have to wait?
Yeah, it will wait, but there's been discussions again overnight. I spoke with Ronan, so again, it's good to have those associations so that you can speak directly with the coach, because that's where the decisions are going to be best made, where they're also the best solution for the player as well. So we've got those two balls in the air at the moment, and as I said, short-term focus, long-term vision, but the short-term focus is on Los Puma this weekend, because they're a heck of a team.
Joe, how do you grapple with the Bledisloe? I know it's Argentina this week, but if James is going to leave at the end of the weekend, it's pressing now. How do you grapple with wanting to win a Bledisloe and potentially, like someone who's 35, maybe going overseas? He's proved to be a match winner in recent weeks.
Yeah, he's done really well, and there's a number of guys who've come off the bench and done really well. And so I think the one thing we would say is that the match winner is the combination of people who managed to get the solutions we need, and part of the solution was the guys who were already on there, like Harry making the decision, and then James putting in the touch. We get the detail with Brandon playing Amosa to get the line out right, and then cause them stress to get a couple of shots at it, thankfully, and finally get over with again Angus Bell, who came off the bench and contributed to being a match winner as well. So I think James's experience is something you can't coach experience. You can try to fast track it just by trying to put them in pressure situations at training, get their feedback, give them feedback, let them reflect, and then come back to things. So it's just trying to find that balance at the moment. We've got Tane Edmed, we've got Tom Liner, we've got Ben Donaldson, who will be fit in time, fully fit. He trained fully today, so this was his big week to get back up to speed. So by the time we play the Bledisloe, we will have those 3 10s, and maybe James.
Big opportunity for Hunter Paisami, Luka and Salakailo. What do you want to see from them? Obviously first time this year in goal.
Yeah, and we've had discussions with them, obviously, and Tom Donnelly and Mike Cron have had particular discussions with Lucan, what they're looking for, set piece, Laurie Fisher defensively, and from me in terms of attack. Hunter's trained better and better as time has gone on through the the Rugby Championship. So there's some confidence around that, as much as I think Lenny's been outstanding for us at the same time. So, and the same with Luke Harns stepping in there. Jeremy Williams was, again, one of those guys who came on and made a difference. I thought he was superb in the third test against the Lions back in Sydney, where he came off the bench and did an incredible job, grabbing lineouts, getting turnovers on the ground, doing a super job. So, we'd love to see some of that from Luke Hahn as well. He's a big physical presence, and I think Hunter is a smaller physical presence, but a punchy one. He's a powerful man, and we'd love to see both of them put their best foot forward. The team needs it, and I think if they can do that, the team will benefit.
The decision at the end of last week to keep going for the win and not just try and take the draw, is that like aggressive mindset something you want the team to keep carrying forward?
Yeah, that the mindset was very much driven by the leaders on the field at the time, and I love the fact that they grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and made their decision and went with it. Probably the only time I piped up at one stage when James was looking like he was going to kick for touch, and I wasn't sure that was going to be the right option because there's too many variables that could go wrong. Whereas just give it to Brandon and he'll punch it forward, and then we actually had a play that we had up our sleeve and we didn't quite get to play it, which you don't really care as long as you get the ball over the line. So the play wasn't just give it to Belly. It was a little bit more complicated than that, but I'll give it a Belly and he scores, I'm happy. So yeah, the aggressive mindset and the focus on making sure that the aggressive mindset is backed up with the right actions, because you can be aggressive in your mindset, and if you're shoddy with your execution, then you're still not going to get the result. So part of it is having a confidence to go for it, and part of it is having a competence to deliver it.
Are you seeing enough from this team, Joe, to feel confident in winning the Rugby Championship?
Oh, Jamie, I'm never confident. But
It's been 10 years.
yeah, oh, I'd love it to happen. We're working as hard as we can to try to make it happen, try to help it happen with the back room, and I'm talking about the full back room. 86-minute game last week. Damien Marsh, Nigel Ashley-Jones, they're working really hard on the physical preparation of the team. Nutritionally, they're getting the fuel reserves right, I think, and then Byron Field and Kat, they're doing a great job making sure that they're in the right physical shape to be able to give 100%. So in the back room, I'd like to think we're giving the players confidence that they can be competitive through to the finish of the Rugby Championship, and that's our part, is to prepare them, and then it's their part to perform. And those performances have been despairing at times, often in first halves or first 20 minutes, and then we actually started the game well. We got the first kick-off back. We got into a position to be able to put pressure on. Maybe got a bit unlucky with the first call with Tom Robertson being penalised for an off feet. But then we made some shoddy errors and gave them 3 and then another 3, and we can't afford to do that to good teams. So there are things that we're constantly working on to make sure that we can be competitive. And while I'm nervous, I'm also buoyed by the fact that the team have come as far as they've come in a relatively short space of time. So, I think where we are at the moment, we're very conscious of Argentina being right behind us in those world rankings, and that they can get past us if they beat us in the weekend. And we're at a sold-out stadium in our own home turf. you know, that means something to the players. The players are very conscious of earning that support, and I know that they'll work hard on Saturday to continue to earn it.
Just on that, with the sellout, us writing headlines, return to golden years, golden age, all that sort of stuff, you probably see that, the players probably see that. How do you approach it, Joe? Do you embrace that sort of media feedback, or do you try to temper it?
We just probably try to internalise whatever we can influence, and even more so what we can control. We can control our effort areas. We can control our technical aspects in terms of having a really good preparation to make sure that we are, our skill sets are primed. What we can't control is what people write about us, or what people say about us, or what the opposition are preparing to do against us. As much as we know their players, we know the dangers of their players. You saw the angles that Chocobaris ran last week. The athletes they have on the edges, the incredible back row they've got, and I see that Oviedo is back into that back row. He's such a big, strong kid, and the athleticism of Gonzalez and Kremer, who made 33 tackles last week. So he's a very big machine to have. So those guys, and I thought their tight five went well last week, so that doesn't really leave a lot of areas of weakness that we can exploit, and I'm sure that for us, those are the things that we probably hone in on more so than what might be said externally, is what can we influence best internally.
Joe,
Last two, please, Ross.
did you consider New Zealand before these two matches released a few players to play NPC? Did you consider doing a similar thing, knowing that Super Rugby AU's starting on this weekend with guys like Jake to get minutes before a Bledisloe?
Yeah, I mean, Jake's not quite ready to play, so it would be counterintuitive to release him, with the potential that he gets another injury. But there are potentially 2 or 3 players that may play, and so we're just waiting for Saturday. And the good thing about Saturday is that we play early enough in the day that we can make some decisions probably after captain's run tomorrow, once everyone's declared fit, and give players an option. I think, for players to come out of camp, they've got to be keen to go and play. So I've spoken to 3 of the 4 Super Rugby coaches in the last 24 hours, just around how we might balance that.
Joe,
The last one, thanks,
just on someone who's probably not on the forefront of your mind right now, Mark Nawangani-Tawase. We spoke to him earlier in the week, and he mentioned that he definitely didn't want to close the door on a potential return to the Wallabies. I guess for you, what does that say about what you're doing with the Wallabies and how the team's going at the moment?
Yeah, again, Mark Nawangani-Tawase is a guy that we've kept our eye on for sure. He's certainly scored some pretty impressive tries for the Roosters, and I don't think we discount anyone in terms of players who have either been in the gold jersey previous or have come through the school system and potentially would like to be back involved with rugby union, just because there's so much talent amongst some of those players, and his athleticism in the air is not too different from Joseph Akuso-Suali'i. So, to have athletes like that, it's always something that would add value. But at the same time, we've got guys who've stayed invested in rugby union, and Max Jorgensen has been outstanding. Corey Toole has come through, and his 2 tests have been really impressive. Harry Potter, before he got injured, was playing really well, and Dylan Peach brings a real physical edge out wide. And so there are a few wingers that have been good for us as well. So, yeah, I saw Mark in passing a couple of weeks ago, and he certainly looked in good shape. So
You've been watching him play for the Roosters, or?
yeah, as I said, I've seen him score a couple of very impressive tries. He loves that, loves getting in the corner and quite acrobatically. So yeah, again, there's a few guys floating around that that have been in the rugby union production line who I don't think Rugby Australia have closed the door either. So yeah, that a lot of that rests in Mark's court as to what he does next. I haven't spoke to Trent about it, but yeah, I'm not sure Trent is looking to let him go at this stage either.
I don't think he's got.
We have to go to the next one. There's something else.
I was just going to say, like, realistically, what kind of time frame would he be looking at if he was to come back for the World Cup?
Yeah, I don't know what his contract is with
There's
the
only
Roosters.
A year left.
He's got a
Only
year
1 year,
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he'd make it back. But